Hello and welcome to the Social Recruiting Show. I'm Katrina Collier. I'm a social recruiting trainer and speaker. I'm, of course, joined by the no longer cast-wearing, leg-free, able to walk, employer branding genius, Audra Knight. And today we're just slightly excited to have the Jackye Clayton from Recruiting Daily on the show. I don't know. Is that just for Angie? And we're going to be talking about tech being more human than human, or tech making, I don't know. I'm a bit terrified because obviously I think the opposite. But welcome, Jackye Clayton.
Hey, Jackye.
Hi, everybody. I am so glad to be here. It's KCJC AK Day.
Ooh, and we're already getting dance
hashtag?
Requests.
Yeah.
You're gonna
We have to dance. We should be dancing right now. I didn't even play the backup. I can do it.
Lordy Lord. And she's having a love fest going on over there.
Oh dear. So what's the hashtag?
Oh,
KCJC. No? Okay. Well, I thought it was funny.
Katrina Collier.
Oh, I get it. Dear.
We're there.
Yep. So do we even need to introduce her, or I feel like everyone knows?
No, you do.
Just in case, maybe give us a little background what you're doing with Recruiting Daily.
Actually, can you move your camera down a bit because we can't actually see you very well. You're like popping into the. There we go.
Nice.
I feel like it's my school picture from elementary school.
So come on, give us a background. How did you end up doing what you do? Because I'm not sure I know. I mean, we might have done karaoke, but.
Okay, so back in the day, I started recruiting for Robert Half, and I worked on the technology side. And I got on the technology side because I used to be a business analyst in IT. So my job was basically, I translated technology to the people using it and the people that were doing it. And a lot of times people didn't understand what they were saying. Like at the time, and this is back in the day, people would say, oh, I want to have a drop-down list and this and that and this and that, right? And then I would say, we need to implement some JavaScript so we have some choices. And then they would say, we're going to have to hire 25 people and code for 8 weeks and do this and this. And I'd go back to the users and say, it's going to take a while. Because it's right all the time.
What year is this?
I'm sorry?
What year?
This is 1998.
Yeah.
You made me say that.
No, but it was, I was more getting at like having my own website, which is WordPress. Like someone sent something to me and said, oh, just get your tech guy to do it. And I'm like, no, I'll just do it. It's WordPress. It'll take me like 2 minutes. I'll just embed the code and we'll be off. Whereas it used to be like that, right? You wanted to change. It took so long.
I used to code and make websites for businesses. And I had to great HOnTX. I remember the first JavaScript and it was all glitchy and weird and hard. But from there, I had my children, took time off and got into recruiting because people saw that I had that background. And even though it was far away, they needed someone on the recruiting side. And it's the hardest part in tech recruiting is getting somebody who actually knows tech. Yeah. So I did that for a while. And then I went over to the agency side, again, another agency. But in the meantime, there were things in life that I was just frustrated about, right? I was frustrated. And I would come up with suggestions and my boss would say, no, we're not doing that. That can't be right, whatever. So I started writing. I started blogging. I started writing for SourceCon in 2007. Yep. When Amy Beth was editor, and I primarily wrote about diversity recruiting. And then later went on to other things. So I was always carrying a full load of work and writing like 2 articles. In fact, someone called me the other day and said, I want you to come train us about diversity recruiting. And I said, that's great. I haven't done that. Has not been my focus for a number of years. And they said, well, I pulled diversity recruiting and all these ERE articles with Jackye Clayton. I was like, oh, well, that was a long time ago. But, and so
the problem hasn't gone away, though.
Has it changed? Or has it? I don't know.
Not really.
Because you got to remember, we're like way ahead of the curve all the time. So like by the time the real world catches up with what our thinking is, it's like, it takes a while.
People are using the stuff I wrote 10 years ago now.
Yeah.
But then I just kept writing. I went over and worked full time for ERE after I had moved to the corporate side just because I was writing so much and, had my own following. And then from there, moved and came over to Recruiting Daily full time. Me and Matt Charney were friends for a really long time, and he appreciated my writing and actually took the time to nurture some of that writing. So I've always been I've been lucky. It's preparation and luck has brought me to the point where I do this full time. And I can tell you, for people looking at jobs, yes, it was definitely a pay cut going from, corporate HR or recruiting manager with 10,000 employees to a 5-person company that, writes blogs and does these mini events. But that's how I got here. That was the long version of how I got here.
How do you stay current when you're not doing this stuff, or maybe you are, but for work, but you're writing about it? How do you keep up?
Well, that's an interesting question. So I started jumping on some of the things. I use Indeed Crowd. I actually still source for those. And I actually have something else. We run HOnTX events.
Yep.
And one of the things we have are ambassadors there. And we all take turns sourcing for those. So I actually still recruit. I just don't place.
Can you tell me what HOnTX stands for? Because I just see HR Texas every time I look at it. But
HOnTX is actually Human Resource Technology Experience.
Ah.
I know. I came up with the name, so be gentle.
Human Resources Technology Experience. I'm typing it out so I remember it.
Yeah, Human Resource Technology Experience. But then we also
spell experience. That makes sense.
Well, we figured we could actually, use it for other things if we have to. It makes sense.
Yeah.
But they really, the point of bring people in small, intimate groups and actually introduce them to new.
Is she freezing on you, Audra? She's so freezing on me.
Just a little bit.
Is your Wi-Fi doing its crap thing again? Yeah.
I kind of just a little.
It did this yesterday, Jackye, and you changed somehow.
What, Katrina? What about that red thing you always say to make green to red? Does she have to do that?
She could do. I don't know if Jackye can hear us.
Yeah, I think she can.
It should be better now.
Okay, you did just switch Wi-Fi's.
I did.
Yeah, the other thing to do is, but I'm scared I'll lose you. We haven't lost you. If it goes really bad, if you hover over yourself, you can change your video to low res. It just, there's a little button that says HD and you just make it go red, but you'll disappear for a second.
Oh, we'll see what happens.
We'll see what happens. Yeah, sorry, I should have done that before we came on here.
That's how our HOnTX runs. It's a small group. We run it as unconference, traditional unconference design thinking style, sticky notes, groups getting together, sharing information, and then we try to share that information out to the world.
So are the people that attend, they're obviously interested in HR tech, or like a tech vendor's just selling, or how does it work? Like, are they open to feedback, or?
Yeah, at first we used to think, we'll have these people that people can do demos with. Like, that's how we first presented it.
Yeah.
But we started the whole event because we wanted people to not have that same boring experience with vendors. We actually we had a road trip. We kind of tested the theory. We got a bus and went from Houston, Austin, and Fort Worth at Cody Boggs. If you remember, me and Katrina were trying to do a blab in the bullpen that time.
And Tin Cup too, right? Was he there too?
Too.
I think I talked to one
It's the other trainer you're talking about.
Yep.
But
it must have been fun.
I will tell. It was an experience. I knew I was in the right place after that. But I can tell you that the thing that I love HR tech, and I've always been shocked when people don't like HR tech. Now, keep in mind, I at one point was doing probably 6 demos a week of HR tech, and then was able to move. Maybe now I do like 2 demos a week, but the stuff out there is fascinating. And what we realized more recently is that when people go, they are expecting to be sold to, but they don't realize that these people are actually subject matter experts. So the rule is for people that are presenting to not do demos. They're not allowed to do demos. Do not try to sell anything to these people. But tell them what you've noticed, because if you are with a company like Text Recruit, then you had to have in the last 5 years researched advantages. Why is your product different? Why do we need a product like yours? And so they go through that way. So no, it's not, they're not allowed to bring pop-ups or stickers or bags. They can come and bring a laptop to show things if necessary, but it's not that kind of party. If you want to come and
That sounds cool.
cards, it's not that kind of party. And we're working on building relationships too. So at the
Just
end,
networking.
it's like a squad. At the end, we're this huge squad, and we've been able to bring people together from all over the U.S. Maybe one day we'll be able to cross the pond and do that. And
HOnTX London, bring it on.
I met a couple of people at the Boston one that I'm still friends with that I never would have known. So it definitely brings people together.
Yeah.
that's awesome. I had somebody call me and they said, "Who are those people we talked to ISIMS last year in Dallas?" I'm like, I hope I can remember. But
I think people are more bought in if they feel like they can give feedback as well. Like so often you wonder if there are recruiters making it or developers making it, because it's so, the user interface is ridiculous and it involves 300 clicks just to open a CV and read it and stuff like that. Resume, sorry.
it's an interactive thing. They actually, at the end of it, most people, when you go to a conference, they'll ask you, "What did you think about the food? What did you think about the sessions?" And in our survey, we say, "Which software did you like the most? Which one did you hate? What did you, what kind of technology are you interested in?" At the end of the day, we are talking about technology. And as you know, and especially based on the topic, I honestly, earnestly believe that technology can help the whole recruiting industry when not abused. That makes sense.
When not abused.
Yeah, don't abuse it. That's not nice.
Yeah.
I think it's tricky because there's so much of it, though. It's like, it's just too intense. There's 50 tools for every different thing you could ever do.
But there's not, though, right? I'll tell you what let me tell you.
You're being told, Audra.
Yep. Bring it.
You're right.
She's gonna teach me how to do that thing one of these days.
Bring it.
Learn you something.
Bring it.
Hey, look at that face. Oh, you're being told.
People, this is the problem we have. A lot of it, we have a solid tool, and the rest of it is branding and whatever group that they have trying to promote it. There's something that drives me nuts. There's a tool out there, and everybody's like, "Oh, I love this tool." But if you look at who loves the tool, they're all on the board of directors, and they all have something financially to gain by saying they like the product.
Yeah.
And as a result, people are liking a product that actually has in its terms and conditions the ability to read everything on your computer. But it's the best tool ever. People have to stop being so willing to sacrifice their life's work of finding out what somebody's salary range is. Because at the end of the day, that's not important.
No. And that's a question you can have if you actually pick the phone up and talk to people.
Right.
Animal, we're not going to say what tool it is. I know that you'd like to know, but there's reasons that we're not going to do that because we don't want to slag off anybody's products on this show.
And I don't want to promote the product.
So I think what you're more getting at is actually just do your research into the tools, isn't it? Know what you're signing up for. I mean, it's like, mind you, it turned out it wasn't the case, but there was a whole thing with the whole Bitmoji keyboard that apparently it was reading your keyboard as you're typing and stuff. It turns out that's not the case. But it's like, do your research so you know, because I know I freaked Audra out.
Yeah, I'm like, oh, yeah.
Oh, that's okay, Animal. If I'm behind the time, you're welcome to switch off and not watch the show. That's no problem.
Animal.
I know. But apparently I'm behind the time, so if he thinks that, he can go watch another show.
Something that I really think is important to mention, and there's various companies. We know that there's other people that do what Recruiting Daily does. I can tell you that I do not write about a software out there that I haven't tested. If I haven't tested it, I don't write about it. Number two is that I refuse to serve on anybody's board of directors because it's not right. It gets in the way of my job.
That's good.
Write about it. And number 3 is that once a person becomes a client, I stop writing about them. If I do mention them, I put on the bottom, this is a company that sponsored our last event, whatever.
Yeah.
I have one article out there where somebody had accused us of doing pay per play. And I actually put on the bottom of the article, it says, I got a sweatshirt from them 3 years ago. They gave it to me as a gift. I wear it. Like, I don't know what that has to do with their product.
Yeah.
But,
But you're being transparent, right? So therefore you're showing that you haven't got a bias. You're just going, and I think that's important.
Well, and the thing that's also, it's very disturbing to me, you see, like yesterday, there's somebody asked for a scheduling tool, and they reached out on Facebook and asked, what tool do you use for scheduling?
Do you mean post to social media or calendar or which scheduling?
On a social, it was for scheduling interviews.
Okay, yep.
Come in and things like that. And people all jumped on this one tool. And they don't recognize, and this is important for people to look at, is that there are a lot of free tools. They're free, but none of them are really free.
No.
You have to look at what you're giving up in order to do that. For example, most people are giving up access to their calendar, which they're giving up access to their contacts. And so, not that the paid ones automatically don't do that.
No.
But the point is, you have to educate yourself. And before you jump on a bandwagon, you need to go in and make sure that this is a tool, number 1, that actually works for you. Number 2, that isn't stealing your stuff. And number 3, you have to do that research before you hit download. I mean, I love technology, but people don't realize everything that you download on your computer leaves you more vulnerable.
Yeah. Exactly. And I also think, I think Mark Lundgren makes a great point that one day I will be able to pronounce your surname. You get what you pay for. I will happily pay, particularly for my calendar scheduling, I will pay for that tool because it's not worth the risk of my, getting stuff booked in and it's all double booked and you have to go and, waste hours rebooking it. It's it's worth paying for certain stuff. Right.
And it's worth, and sometimes it's worth the risk if it makes sense. I don't think that it's worth the risk for one phone number or one email address.
Yeah.
I think you could reach out and just call it's too easy to just pick up the phone and say, I want to talk to Frank at the corporation where they work for, or if they've been interviewed. It's too simple to do that. However, there's a tool right now. It is in beta, and I've already pre-warned my company that one day they're going to charge because it's been in beta, and I have to have it no matter what the cost.
Wow.
Called a company for Gmail, and I love the tool, and this is how it makes you more human. What's
the tool called? Sorry.
A company for
Gmail.
Oh, you wrote a post on this, didn't you?
I did. I love it. I use it daily, and what it does is that it allows you to go in. It'll give you all of the information, the standard, get their LinkedIn, their Facebook, whatever their profile is. But it also shows you articles. Specifically, it has their last tweets, articles about them and articles about their company and everything similar to what Charlie used to do.
Yeah.
But you can also put in alerts for the company and the person. So for people that are recruiting, maybe you have a competitor that you want to recruit out of.
Yeah.
If you go in to talk to somebody that's in your talent pool and you bring them in and you're using Gmail for Business or whatever, it'll say, hey, when you talk about this person, their company did this. So it's not just here's their last tweet. It's and it's not this is what you need to talk to them about. It'll keep doing it, and then it syncs with people in your Gmail that maybe you didn't flag and say, this is what's coming up to tell you about the people that are in your contact list.
Yeah.
So to me, it's worth it to me for them to have my contact list because they're giving me information on every single contact.
Yeah.
They're not giving me one Gmail.
Can I just get you to just drift your eyes over there to what Erin's saying in reply to Jackye? It's a company, ACC. Yeah. Accompany.com. That's awesome. Thanks, Erin, putting that there.
Hey, Jackye, can we go back a tiny bit? When you were saying you should make sure you do your research first, where do you suggest you do that? Actually reading like the boring terms and services, or like asking your friends, or what do you do?
You can always ask me, and I'll tell you, because I research all of them, the good, the bad, and the ugly.
Because she has nothing better to do with her time than answer 5,000 questions of, am I giving my contacts to this company? But you mean just you and I and anyone on the call, right? Yeah.
Don't share that.
Yeah, only us.
But they do. There's something it's called Too Long Didn't Read. It's a Chrome extension.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And it points out some of the errors that are there. And those not errors, areas of concern. The other thing is looking at the terms.
I did that for everything.
What's it called? Too Long Didn't Read?
I'm still writing that down.
Yeah, I'm going to use that for everything. I agree. Wow.
TLDR. And it'll tell you what parts of the terms and conditions you should be worried about.
Oh.
The other thing is that you can go in and actually go and comb through it and read it. Once you start reading these things, you start knowing the general copy paste terms. You only have to read the part about what do we do with your information and who has access. And then I have a tendency, if there's a tool, I try to schedule it out. Like I'll say, look at this tool because I have so many. And I go in Chrome to see if it's been updated. And I think it's important to, if you really, really don't want to, go in and see the comments that people are leaving on the Chrome extension. We're having a problem right now with Chrome extension malware. Yeah. So people like to call it malware when people steal all your information, but really a lot of it is just, I didn't read the terms and conditions. Yeah. Most of them tell you the software that I was talking about earlier that will remain nameless. It says point blank, it is detailed exactly what they do with your information. It says that they sell it to third-party people. It says you have no control of it. It says if you cancel right now, we still keep your information. And you're right, Billy, it is more than that. But I mean, there's a lot of people. There was a big flash the other day on Facebook where they're like, don't download any Chrome extension because it'll be this and that. And that's not necessarily true. That's just, there is a lot of malware. Yeah. But the part that is important to do is when you go into these Chrome extensions and you see what it is, also look and see what happens when you unsubscribe. So look at the terms and conditions. Look what they do with your information. Look for your privacy rights. But then look what it does to unsubscribe. There's another software that's out there, and it says that while I was doing my research and looking into it, I was asking them questions. They started feeling uncomfortable, and so they kicked me out of the software, right? Yeah. So they unsubscribed me a user of their software and asked them to give me my information and take me off their records. And they say, sorry, according to our terms and conditions, the only time you can unsubscribe is if you're an actual user and subscriber of the app. And since you are no longer recognized as that, we will not give you back your information.
I would be very interested to see if any of them are doing any business in Europe, what happens with GDPR then, because come the 23rd of May next year, they will not be able to do that.
This is the other thing you need to look at for weird. So this particular company, which I found very interesting, and this is something else to look for, is if there is damages, where do you go if you have to sue? Now, the common person, we're not, I'm not going to sue for that. But this particular company, the laws that was regulated were all of the laws in Israel. And if you were going to sue the company, you were going to have to do it in Israel. And you were going to have to follow those laws. So how do we do that?
Okay, Matt Lundgren's just corrected me on that as well. So it's not only having business in Europe, it's actually any details on any EU citizen. Right. So any of the companies that are doing that will not be able to do that. And it doesn't matter what they write in their T's and C's. They're not permitted to keep the information for more than 3 months.
Well, it's funny. In Europe, you also can't say this is the world's best peanut butter unless it's actually the world's best peanut butter. Unlike,
which is good. No,
I'm just laughing.
And I'm sorry, can we just digress off topic just for a second? If peanut butter has palm oil in it, it is shit peanut butter. Peanuts squashed up is enough to make peanut butter. Okay, save the orangutans. Right, now we can move back to topic.
Wait, just real quick. I saw honey
Peanut
spread.
butter should not have palm oil in it. There is no reason to kill an orangutan for your jar of peanut butter, because you just squash the peanuts and you get peanut butter.
Hashtag love the orangutan.
Yeah, sorry, been to Borneo, seen them in the wild. You know, there's none left in the wild now because of bloody palm oil. Anyway, off topic. So, bringing it back a bit, because we've got quite beautifully, like shockingly, oh my God. But because we were going to talk about more, you think tech can help we humans be more humans?
Yes, and I'll tell you why.
Okay, because I just thought maybe we should actually have it vaguely like the topic, which would be rare for us, but...
I always say it's
palm oil is still shit, Mark, whether it's cheaper or not. There's a cost to it being used as a filler in a crap.
Thank you.
So don't mind me.
They know.
Don't mind me. That's why the robots will take over, because it's all profit driven. We won't have jobs because robots will be doing our jobs.
You're gonna have robots because people are too freaking lazy. Okay. Yeah. It goes with what you were saying. What you were saying today at noon.
Yes, what I am saying shortly.
Later. But
mine.
People, I just threw my own self off.
Yeah.
So what's important to recognize is that, okay, so we have these candidates and everybody's like, wah, I don't get feedback. Okay, so let me stop and enter feedback to all 2,000 people that applied for the job. Well, you can't. So then you're going to hire a intern, entry level, first year HR person so that they can actually enter it in, right? But it's too much for them to do. So then how are you supposed to respond back to everything? You don't want to alienate people away from your business. And using tools that are already built in, and there's already, things at play that can actually help you do that. Where the problem is when you're trying to, the notes are too short, or the words are too short. They say things like, thank you for your application, but we've gone another direction, which is a heartbreaker.
Or just, hi, thanks very much for your application. If it's suitable, we'll get back to you. But otherwise, keep looking at the jobs. In other words, we just put your resume in the bin. Yeah,
we're going to keep you in our database.
Yeah, the bin. Physically, it went.
I
think that's where I think the human bit's got to come in. But how can you humanize it? Is there even tech to reject applicants humanely?
It's never going to be the right answer. And some of this, you have to put your own personality in it so it doesn't look like you're a computer.
Yeah.
I mean, it's almost like me when I was a recruiter. I had millions. I'd be like, "They're just not into you," and then it'd be like, "I am absolutely shocked that they didn't want to speak to you. I have absolutely no idea why." At this point, we've been looking at other candidates. I like your background. I want to stay in contact with you. And I used to have on Thursdays was my call-in day when I was agency. And I'd be like, if you want to discuss it further, give me a call on Thursday between these times, and I'll make sure and try to contact you. Most people, they're like, it's only the difficult ones that are like, I really want to know exactly what happened. But just tell people. The problem is people are too afraid to say, he looked at the email or your resume and he just thought that, he just didn't like the background.
That, or again, we're still recruiting on someone's ability to write a resume.
Which is ridiculous.
Yeah, but we are, because it's still the
because we're human, though.
Yeah, and it's like, but most of us can't write our own resume. It's very hard to blow your own trumpet without sounding like an arrogant. Oops, don't swear, Katrina.
Or just not good writers. I'm a terrible writer, and my resume stinks.
Yeah. So, I mean, there's still that side. But, I mean, even when I talk to job seekers and I'm like, well, why don't you go and find Jackye somewhere else? Go and tweet with her. Go and find her on LinkedIn. Go and, send her a connect request. Do something else. They're kind of, job seekers freak out at that as well. So there's still, even though we might be well into using social media to dig in, there's still this fear from them.
Well, there's another way of handling this, of utilizing, that's funny, the Charlie's Angels of recruiting.
I do that, but I seriously need a manicure.
I think people also forget of how we have to do that by the end. We have to have a Charlie.
Ooh, fun. Yeah.
Do we have to pick which way we're going?
Well, doesn't it differ for each of us? Or are we all seeing? I don't know.
Am I on that end or that end?
Like
Jackie's in the middle.
Oh, that's my bad finger. I have to go this way.
So you can also make a note. Okay, so you have your thing and say, I'm going to try to reach out to you, but tag the people that you like, tag the people that you like and put them on your calendar. And always, 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 when you have a candidate that says, hey, I can't talk, I have another job, and I love my job, right? When you see that, put a note, loves their job, put their LinkedIn profile, right? Set a reminder on that candidate. And then it'll say, Sally is enjoying her 5 years at the company. And then you respond and say, wow, you really must really love your company. 5 years, I can't believe it. If that ever changes, let me know. You do it every year. Put a note to do it. But you can't do that on your own. You can't remember every candidate. You have to utilize the technology. And if you use something like Mixmax, you can have it so that those things already go out. Yeah. And it makes you appear to be more human.
Yeah. Can I just, John Rose, bless you, hello, has just written, the collective we need to understand the difference between a resume and a CV and decide which one should be used. I'm censoring. To me, they're exactly the same thing.
What is the difference? Does anybody know?
Well, I'm just using the American word for a CV. That's what I thought I was doing, but there are cultural differences. You definitely see European CVs are really different to British ones and so forth.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, right.
I think they're all long and boring, to be fair, but
the part is that somebody asked me, it was on LinkedIn.
So resume has 6 what?
Pages.
Resume has 2. I love you, Jim Stratt. CV has 2 letters. Resume has 6 letters.
We'll go with that.
Yeah, boom, boom. It must be fun. But anyway, going back. Okay, so obviously my big problem with technology and where I think recruiters are completely lazy is that candidate outreach piece. So you think that they can be more human in that piece?
I think
watching what they're doing now with their 2 keyword search on LinkedIn and 100 emails, hoping a quarter of a person will reply.
Well, here's the thing. It's like you can have a combo. Like Mark Lundgren, he's here, and I love his video, what he says.
Mark,
and then you can have the standard, it's like choose your own adventure and be like, dude, they didn't pick it. I have, I hate that because I love getting people jobs, but this is just not going to be the one. Let's make sure and stay in contact. It's a video. You can mass mail it to everybody who applied for the job, but it's not what you say, it's how you say it.
Yeah.
So if I send them a video and I'm like, dude, love your resume, not getting the job, and they're done.
Yeah.
And then they feel like you took the time out to reach out.
Actually, you think like if you did that and sent it on a WhatsApp or something like that, like how much quicker that would be as well than typing out a bloody email anyway.
Seriously, it'll take you.
Hey, this is why your CV didn't get past the first mark. Boom, 1 point, straight on. Like whatever. If you're brave enough to do it, of course, there's the fear of being sued, isn't there? Particularly in the US.
Well,
but like your CV is in pink font. You've got a email address. We can't take you like there's a couple of changes you should make. So, look how many people are here. This is awesome. Awesome. What's Jonathan written, Audra?
Oh, bye, Billy. Have fun at your Christmas party.
What? What? Billy, you didn't invite me. That's not true. He invited me to awards night last week. There's a beautiful Snapchat of he and I floating around somewhere.
Let's talk about what Jonathan said. It said, generally, recruiters are not good at communicating over time. That's not going to change. Technology can do it better, and we'll take that over and scale. And that's exactly right. The tip is, and also
use it though. Use it. They're not using what they have now.
Yeah,
that's true. Sounds like I'm right. Oh, sorry, but I digress. So what I'm saying, we
actually agree. We're just coming at it from different angles, just to be difficult.
We love each other.
I don't do carpool karaoke with just anybody.
Some of this actually depends on the job, and it also goes back to a lot of companies are still using the old matrices and time to hire as having more weight than
Yeah.
quality of hire, because quality of hire takes at least maybe a year at best to determine.
Yeah,
And
actually, hang on. Can I just answer Erin here? Sorry, I'm being really rude. Erin, go type that into Google. Site:/glassdoor.com or .co.uk/interview, never heard back. Go and horrify yourself. Yeah, sorry, because she's making a valid point. Are we grossly generalizing that recruiters don't answer back? But there's 11,500 results there. Okay, of course it's Google, so that means there's probably 100, but.
That's like saying, that's like, we can talk Texans don't have guns, but they do. Just because I don't doesn't mean.
Well, actually, you missed earlier when Animal thought that you pulled out your gun signal a bit too fast. So we just went, I wrote, because you live in Texas.
Don't make me go to the closet.
I'm in Texas. Yeah. But there are excellent recruiters out there. I would like to think I was one. I know you are one, Erin. I know a lot of people on this chat are. But then we're on the chat. There's lots and lots of people sitting out there in their little bubbles who aren't, or because they've got 40 job vacancies each.
Yeah, that's an extra challenge we haven't talked about. Just sometimes they're just completely overloaded. And the idea of
we're going to bring all our resourcing in-house, but we're going to give you 40 jobs, and they're all completely different. Like there's no overlap. They're all, and it's ridiculous.
I've seen recruiters with over 100 open recs each. Like, how are you going to find time to?
Unless they're 100 of the same thing. Yeah.
You can. Here's the tip.
Yeah.
Don't use the built-in template
For emails.
For emails, like when you buy a tool, even like I'm not enforcing Mixmax, but it's something that I use all the time, and what it has these samples, like I found your resume or whatever. Don't.
Yeah.
I mean, I will tell you something. I sent out an email. I was desperate. I needed a Java developer who spoke Portuguese, not Brazilian Portuguese, that knew the Oracle tag module and understood, the Java developer, because they were making drop downs in Portuguese, not Brazilian Portuguese. And I sent out a message.
Jim just asked if you had to be left-handed as well.
Totally. It was like, so I did my search, and this was not yesterday. So I did my search, I pulled it all out, and I was so exhausted that my email was like, dude, seriously, I'm desperate for this role. Help. Please help.
Yeah.
That's what I sent out. Yeah. And I ended up getting 5 people that were like, because people are too afraid to be like, I don't even know what the hell this is. Dear person, I'm going to be honest. I have no idea what this job is, but you look kind of like it.
Yeah.
You tell me. And people will reach out. As opposed to...
I've just discovered there's a difference between Portuguese and Brazilian Portuguese. I didn't even know that. It's probably like German and Swiss German. Apparently you said you pulled it out and all that, so I'm trying to keep the show G-rated in the comments. They're being a bit naughty over there.
Yeah, but I said a swear word.
I know, we've been really good. They're still waiting for our gun pose. I'm still worried that forever my chipped nail polish is going to be on, because I have to go that way, right? Because I'm on that side. Anyway, we're doing that at the end.
Jackye, I think what you said, though, is a good rule for any tool in life, is never to use the templates, because they're not, it's just crap.
And also, there's a brilliant blog post I came across recently that, like, based on results of sending messages, they need to be hyper-personalized to get attention, not even vaguely. And why and also just stupid things like like just using the word or I'm sure you're not looking. What a stupid thing to write in a template. How do you know if they're looking or not, right? Like
you're a sorcerer. You're not a sorcerer.
Like,
Oh my God, that's
don't
awesome.
give yourself that much credit, okay?
Yeah.
You're not even the one saying you're hired.
Yeah.
Okay? So I'm sorry, pluck your little love feathers. But you're just not that important. So don't act.
Oh my God, Erin, the scribe. Look how fast she got that out.
Love it.
You can scribe all our shows, Erin. You're awesome.
I mean, the thing is,
you're right.
A job to do. You have a job to do.
Yeah.
And part of that is being communicative and reaching out. But part of it is to get it placed. The thing that I hate worse than that is when people say, I shouldn't call because it's the weekend and they're with family. It's too late for me to reach out. They probably don't want to text.
Yeah.
Do you?
It's like, here's my phone. I choose to answer it or not answer it. I choose to reply to your email or not answer it. But you get me in an off-peak time, there's more chance I'm going to see it, right? An email at 6:30 in the morning, a text message during the middle of the day, a call, whatever. Like, I don't know why it got so complicated. Why are we hiding behind the tech? The tech.
I used to write this one guy. I had a candidate, and it was so funny. He said, I could tell that he was reading my emails. Back in the day, you used to be able to insert a picture to see if it was a read receipt. It was white. Nobody could see it. That's what you had to do. So I know I love these tools. I love them. So anyway, he kept responding, and I kept emailing him, and I was like, you're the only one who does this in Miami, so it's become a challenge for me. And I was like, I sent him an email, and I sent him an email every 3 days.
Yeah.
And then I sent him an email every 2 weeks, and then I sent him an email every week. And so my whole company would laugh to ask me what email template I sent out. And I did it for a year, for a full year.
To one person? To one person?
To one person.
So how did you change it up every time? Because I mean, I'm laughing because I'm on this webinar later on. Sorry, it's like Webinar Central today with Steve Levy, and we're talking about the passive aggressive that people get. Like, well, you still haven't responded to my email. Well, that's because I don't want to. Like, but how did you change it up to send so many messages?
Why did you keep bothering after the 5th?
No, I wasn't bothering them. Look, I would say
bothering with your time. I mean,
I would say things like, well, it's me, right? So I'd be like, maybe you don't want a job, but maybe you'll like this joke, right? And I would send it out. And I'd be like, okay, you don't like jokes. Did you watch the game last night, right?
And you could still tell he was reading your emails. It wasn't like you were being...
Oh, so that's why it was worth to continue, because he was reading them. I got it.
And then the last one, after a year, even if he would have deleted it, I would have been, I was like, I used to always say at the bottom, I know there's a fine line between engaging and stalking, but I really want to talk to you. And I will keep, and I would be like a side note, I will keep reaching out to you until you tell me not to reach out to you.
Right.
Yeah. A few vendors do that too.
So the last one, it was after a year. And I said, honestly, it's been fun, but this is honestly exhausting. So I'm changing it up. I'm going to come to your company tomorrow. And I'm going to serenade you, look out your window at 2 o'clock. It'll be me. A song to say goodbye, right? So that's what I said. I'm just going to play you a song to say goodbye.
You are a super stalker.
He called me, and I was like, I thought he was calling me to tell me the police are outside of your office. And I said, oh my gosh, you called me. And he goes, yeah, because I think you're crazy enough that you just might show up outside my office. And we talked to him.
I think you are.
He didn't want the job.
Yeah.
He was my number one referral for years after that.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
And I actually have something on LinkedIn. He was like the best recruiter who's never found me a job.
I love that.
But I mean, if I keep saying, why won't you answer me? I sent you 5 emails.
Because that's so important.
Well, the worst is all the vendors, they say, in case I know you missed my last 3. Oh. And they all say the same.
Not your last 3.
Yes.
And all the ones that come without unsubscribe buttons as well, which just freaking hacks me off.
Somebody sent me an email.
Is that illegal?
That wanted to help me out with my recruiting efforts.
I'm trying to find this one that really pissed me off. I've got it here ready for later. Anyway, can't find it. But it was just along those lines. You haven't answered me. Like, oh, fuck off.
That's right. For everyone, it's just like if you were dating someone and they don't call, sometimes that's your answer.
Yeah.
For people, as a vendor, that's your answer. The difference between recruiting and someone who's selling widgets is that I'm really not buying widgets.
Yeah.
I don't even have a widget machine.
Yeah.
I don't want it.
Yeah.
But as opposed to the like when you really feel serious, you're serious that I have a job that I think you would like. Like, I love this company. I love this position. I mean, I wouldn't do it for a company that sucked and a manager that sucked. But if you know, like, Your reason you don't know is that you're crazy. You know, my dad used to say, because there are days in recruiting life that you're like, I have no idea what I'm doing, you know, whatever. And my dad used to say, you know, Jackye, when someone tells you no, what they're saying is, I don't understand. And so you have to go through and say, okay, doing it the way I did it, they didn't understand. So you have to change it up every single time to see if there's a way maybe that they will understand. You know?
So why not try different tech? So gorgeous Wendy McDougall from Firefish, she sent me this chain, and it was 6 emails or 7. No, it was more. I think it was 8 emails. And it was just like, why not pick up the phone and talk to her, or, you know, send a text, send a video, send, you know, like send a bloody cupcake, like do something different. Why do people keep using this same channel? Clearly that channel isn't the communication channel of choice of that person as well.
No doesn't mean no. I said no means no, but you have to tell me.
Jim Stroud, that was exactly what I was referring to, the 5 love languages. Erin's written here, shower them with compliments. And all right, that only works for some people, because in the 5 love languages, you would have to be words of affirmation, which I'm so not. So that wouldn't work for me. You'd have to come untouched. You'd have to come straight, mom.
Wording lessons too. So you can do the 5 love languages. If it doesn't work and you're calling, then send them a note. If the note doesn't work, send them a text. I believe that you should always start out with a new candidate using 3 different methods.
Yeah.
You should always have a text, a call, and an email from the very day. It's people always think, what's first? You should do all of them in the same day.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. And then just space it out.
But also, I think the people that are being really creative are succeeding. You know, the ones that will go on and they'll discover that Audra likes her bizarre rock music, and they'll have it playing in the background and call up. And even if they leave a voicemail, she's hearing that music and she's clued into that. Like all that creative stuff, it works.
That would totally work.
But this is where I'm like, why aren't people using the tech to discover that stuff, to do that stuff?
Well, I think that they've only
ranting.
But here's the thing. You can set it up. Again, you know your voice, and you know the way that you react and the things that you do. And so you make it your own. And the thing is that you can do the research, but you only have to do it once and then space out where you're sending out your email. And there's certain things that, you know, you just have to wait to find the right one. And then at some point you have to tell them, you know, I'm not doing this anymore. Right? But there are some jobs, and Grant, to back up is what I had said earlier. I was a tech recruiter.
Yeah.
Beginning of the .NET era. Like, this is when it just came out. The people were hard to find. I know that now, especially with, you know, Amazon services, all the other different technologies that we have now, it's hard to find them. But we were at the point where it was desperate. And what you never see was a recruiter saying, and I used to use it all the time, of being like, hey, Susie, I think I might be the worst recruiter in the world. I have this job. I'm looking for a .NET developer, and I can't find a single one. What should I do? Because people, then they're like, oh, I know plenty. I can tell you.
Yeah, ask for help. So, but something else in that, I think I see in one of the groups that I'm in, I see a lot of people going on about, oh, we have no brand. Sorry, Audra, but we have no brand, we have no presence, nobody knows who we are. How can we do this? But you know, I mean, you're saying the .NET. I was doing ClickView recruitment, so it's a business intelligence tool. It had barely been around any time. I needed them to be able to speak tech and speak to the business, and worked on billions of rows of data, and it was like huge. It was really, really hard ask. And we were a little startup growing from 20 to 70, and it's like nobody knew who we were. But me on the phone, knowing the projects, knowing the enthusiasm, I would get them in the door. And that's the bit that you don't get on an email, like my tone of voice, my excitement, my understanding of the projects and how you would fit in and blah, 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 blah. Like that's,
and
if you use the tech, pick the phone up. Or
if you're good on the phone, some recruiters stink on the phone.
But then they shouldn't be recruiters, because their job is to entice people into that company.
But
it's a sales job. Be a sourcer, be a researcher. Yeah. Don't. To me, recruiting,
I agree with that.
Selling people, which sounds shocking, but you are.
Use video. Then you can practice. Use video. Yeah. Another old school, because this is like, again, I'm just going to stop saying it. But when I'm stop putting myself down. I'm a very young 44 years old.
You're even younger than me, so shut up, basically.
By like 5 minutes.
And you've got that built-in anti-wrinkle cream as well, so shush.
I do.
Right.
But we used to role play when I it's kind of naughty, but we used to role play. I'm going to call this candidate, and this is what they're going to say. Practice, practice, practice. And if you still can't do it, they're hiring someplace else.
Yep. Jackye, you work with vendors all the time. Do you ever talk to them about their rubbish skills? Because they drive me insane with these same exact things.
Well, I'll tell you what I do. I tell them all that if they want me to look at their software, I will not talk to the account manager, and I will not talk to the marketing person.
Yeah.
I want to talk to the product manager, and I want to talk to the founder.
Yeah.
And the reason is I usually need to know why they decided that the world needed another freaking ATS.
Yeah.
Now, and I just want to be real. Like, did you just see this as a way of making money? If so, cool. Then send me the salesperson. I don't need any more, because you're basically telling me my shit's just copied from somebody else. That's cool.
Yeah.
But I want to know, why would you think that we needed this in the first place? I only imagine that entrepreneurs are sitting there eating their toast saying, oh my gosh, I've come on to something brilliant. Nobody does it. So at least somebody thought that. But the salesperson, they're just trying to get their bills paid. I want to know why you thought that my invaluable hour, you were going to show me something that was just, mind blowing.
Yeah.
I want to know what that is first. And if they can't come up with that, then we usually end it. Sure. I will not talk to them.
I like it. Very cool.
I find they do really strange things, like just going back to the basics of not looking dodgy, like no email signatures and not using your first name, and it's all I again. But the reason I always talk about, and not just for the fact they irritate Audra, but it's more noise that a lot of us are up against when we're doing our normal recruiting. That it's not just, when we think about, fight spam, just recruiters doing it, it's not just recruiters doing it. We're all getting hit with it all day.
Somebody asked me if I was interested in their product and wanted to purchase it. And I was like, no, not really. I don't really buy the software. And they said, oh, then if you know anybody who would be interested, let them know. And I was like, okay. Like,
you would sell your crap for you?
I mean, and in a way, I influence people's decisions. But it was, you didn't even research. You didn't even look to see. I mean, my job title's editor. It's not. You can do that. They'll say, "Oh, do you like my recruiting tool?" And I'm like, "Oh, well, technically, I'm not a recruiter, but I know people." It's just taking the extra step. The technology is there, and when you use it foolishly, there are people that are on my list of never demo because of how they've approached me in these emails from LinkedIn.
That happens to me all the time. I'm actually sometimes interested in a product and I would consider buying it, but I'm too afraid for the stalker follow-up that I'm like, I'm not even going to look at it.
See, that's horrible.
Actually, you know what, on that though, is the thing where you've just landed on their website and the thing pops up and starts talking at you. Or of course, there's always the one where, we'll never forget where we were having dinner, Audra, and they walked over. Yeah, that doesn't work either.
Oh, that was the worst.
Yeah, never, ever, ever, no matter how much you want to talk to somebody, try and sell at them in the middle of dinner.
Well, no, also, once I was at a recruiting event, and it was the party after, and people were dancing, and I was just sitting on the side having a beer. And some guy comes over and starts trying to sell me his product. And I'm like, I'm at an after party. I'm trying to hang out with my friends.
Not sure they know the line of, and actually I imagine it's the same when recruiters go to events as well. Like if you're attending a developer's event and you're a recruiter, you need to sit back and it comes up in the natural conversation. You don't walk around going to want a job.
Let me tell you something, and I know that I'm a little different than a lot of people. Again,
a little
to the scary oracle position that I needed, that I was desperate.
Yeah.
We were about to have to pay like a $30,000 fee for this role. I said, let me do one thing. And I wanted to go to Oracle World. Oracle World is the big Oracle, like they have 40,000 people that come in town for the freaking conference. And as a recruiter, I convinced my company to spend the $10,000 it was going to take for me to get a full pass and my hotel and my flight and whatever. And I wore a shirt the whole time throughout the whole thing that says, I'm a recruiter. I'm hiring for the following positions. And I carried around job ads. And I got invited to all the parties. Because everybody.
Okay, when was this?
Yeah.
This was 5 years ago.
Yeah, I don't know that you could do it now.
Did you have the shirt like made up, the text, or did you like put some?
The thing is that the thing
I think you get shot now.
is I worked the Oracle scene so hard that I became a lead speaker at all of the Oracle events to talk about recruiting. They don't invite recruiters to user technology conferences. It was just working it because I had a job to do.
Yeah.
And because I was the only recruiter, 40,000 people that said, I'm hiring for the following positions, they all came to me. Whether they or not. Yeah, I'm still
definitely.
Okay, we have
different.
Like 4 minutes. Just, are we doing it this way? Have I got to go that way? I don't know what side I am.
No, see, I think you have to go the other way, but I think we all see it differently.
Yeah, like that.
Yeah.
Is that okay? Is that the gun look? I have no idea. I don't have a gun.
You go the other way, Audra.
Oh, I do?
I've got so many chip nails.
Oh, see, for me.
We're going that way. Hey, guys, you better be ready for your screenshot.
I know.
No, you've got to.
How do you do it? Maybe I'm not a Texas.
I'm doing it like that. I don't know. You're the one that lives in Texas.
Who's doing it in the middle?
Has anyone done one yet? Right, that's it. Oh my goodness. We don't even know who our guest is next week, do we? And no, Angie, you're right. I don't want it to end either. Have we worked out? We don't know. You'll have to wait and.
It's a surprise, exciting surprise.
It's a surprise.
I, of course, am not available on Friday, so it's going to be on Thursday because we're difficult.
Or possibly Wednesday.
Oh,
maybe Wednesday. Anyway, we don't know.
One more time. Count to 3 and do it one more time. 1, 2, 3.
If that's really horrible, like, can you delete it, please? Anyway, Jackye, thank you.
Yeah, thank you. I learned a lot. That was awesome.
I will see you in a bit.
Listen, I would love to do it.
Everyone stick around at 1 p.m. Eastern, right?
Yes. And you'll have the other part of JCKC AK. I could have just had y'all on. So Audra needs to come like next week.
Audra needs to come as well and talk from the marketing point.
But we really, I mean, just to everybody, I know everybody has a job to do and people will try to convince one way or another. If you get anything from this, ask somebody if they're on the board of directors before they start mentioning if they
Love it.
run. That's number 1. Number 2, read the terms and conditions. Make sure you have that. Number 3, you can always call me or send
Call
me.
Jackye.
And I'll respond via video.
And also, if you actually want to know the company that we were talking about, we will be bribed.
That's right. I like chocolate.
Bribed. We like gifts. Right. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks, Jackye. That's awesome.
Thank you, everybody, for being on the side and being so chit-chatty as well. It really makes the show.
Yeah.
So.
Awesome. TGIF.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye.